gotta go over this. Hey, Yvette. I know it's Yvette. I'm gonna wait till a few more minutes and see if I have anybody else come on. And then I'm gonna try to log on my phone at the same time so I could see the questions. 7. Good evening, y'all. Let me see. I'm trying to navigate this chat room so I can see the questions. Okay, let me see here. Uh-oh. Hey, Seattle driver. Sirius BLQ. Uh-oh. Hey, Seattle driver. Who else is on here? Sirius BLQ. Okay, it may be a delay because I'm on the phone. And then I'm also on my laptop. I just want to be able to see the question. Okay, it may be a delay because when do we need to file? Okay, but basically, the IRS has not started opening its tax season year yet until it's supposed to be January the 18th. However, you want to start filing the return when you get all your 1099s. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. I'm trying to log onto my phone at the same time. Okay, y'all, I'm back. And I changed my password so I could look at the chat in the room. I'm trying to log onto my phone. Okay, so the first question that I see here was, when do I need to file? Now, you can file usually around the middle of February, towards the end of February. The reason why I say that is because banks, your employers, Uber Eats, Lyft, they're not required to send out those 1099s. They have until the second week in February to have that information submitted to the customers or employees and contractors. Now, you will get the 1099 from Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, whomever you work with, as long as you made over $500 of income. So say, for instance, you worked at Postmates and you say, you know what, I only worked a few weeks and you only made about $300. They're not going to give you a 1099 because you didn't make over $500. So if you make $600 or more or any platform, they'll give you the 1099. So if you didn't make over that amount with any particular platform, you could exclude that income. However, um, if you made less than, say, $1,000, and say you only made about $2,000, now you may not have a tax liability to file a tax return anyway, because when you take the standard deduction and the exemption alone, that's going to wipe out whatever amount of money you made. However, if you have a job, or say you have a dependent, and say they worked at a part-time job at McDonald's, and they had withholdings taken out, whatever little amount of money you made, if you paid taxes and withholdings, or if you paid an estimated tax payment, then you are due that money back. So you want to file a return just to get the refund from the IRS. If the IRS owes you money, and you may say, well, I didn't make a lot of money, and do I need to file? If you paid in withholdings, or if you paid estimated taxes, then you may want to get that money back. So the only way you can file and get that money back is by filing a return with the IRS to get your refund or a claim. Another reason you want to file a tax return is because this year, the IRS is required that you must show that you had health insurance coverage. Now, unless you claim as a dependent on someone else's return, then they are claiming you, then you don't have to file a return. However, like I said, you could indicate your claim as a dependent, and all you're doing is getting your refund from the withholdings. Now, let's flip it on the other side. You're a parent or a guardian, and you only worked, say, 4 months out the year, 5 months out the year. You didn't make a lot of money. And you made about $9,000, $10,000, $11,000. You will file a tax return because you may be entitled for the earned income credit. Now, earned income credit is basically for those who are they don't make a lot of money, and say you have dependents. You may be entitled to an earned income credit, which could be anywhere from $3,450 or more, depending on how low your income is and how many dependents you have. So for those who, but you have to have some type of earned income. Now, earned income doesn't have to come from wages from an employer. It could come, earned income could come from doing Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, or 1099, or cash. So say, a lot of people think that, well, I only work Uber for a couple months, but if you get cash, you're supposed to report the cash tips too. Now, I know some people may not report the cash tips because they're going to try to hide it and not account for it. But if you make a YouTube video, and, I'm not trying to point anyone out, but there's some people count their tips every Tuesday. They just counting the cash tips, have a digital footprint, and says, oh, on the app, last week I made X amount of money in tips. And you don't report that accurately enough. The IRS knows on an average that someone works a ride-sharing gig economy jobs, and Uber Eats and Grubhub, they're going to indicate the total income you made, especially if you made income on the app. It's going to include the tips. But let's say you did Uber. Now, Uber didn't have the tip option on the, they didn't implement the tip option on their app until what? This year? It seemed like it's so long ago, but it wasn't that long ago. you have to account for those cash tips, especially when um, if you work Uber only. Now let's look at it like this. The only 1099 that the IRS has on file from you comes from Uber, which also includes Uber Eats, by the way. And they show Uber says you made $25,000 for the whole year. And I'm not saying anybody's going to make about $5,000 in tips. That might be a little bit stretch. But say you made about $900 or $1,000 worth of tips. You're a real hustler. You wouldn't want to account for those tips. You really don't want to disclose that, because if the IRS decides to audit your return, and two reasons why someone will be audited. The first reason you will be audited is if you have a Schedule C, and say you had made 20. Let's say you made 25,000. That's just to be safe, on the safe side. You can easily make $25,000 a year of income doing Uber Eats and Grubhub. And your Schedule C, you turn around and you say, well, you know what? I have a loss of $24,000, and you only have $1,000 of taxable income, and there's no taxes to be paid. Let me see what y'all say. Maybe what ID? What is it? What ID you started the middle of, like? Oh, what is it? Wait a minute. What if you started in the middle, like October? Can you still file? Is it worth it? Yes. It's not when you start working, it's how much you've made. So say you work October, November, December. Now, let me ask you a question, because Serious Barbecue, did you work any other jobs prior to that? Did you work part-time and got a W-2, or were you just work exclusively as a self-contractor? Because it's not how many months you work, it's how much money you made. So remember, if you made $1,000 for the whole year, you're going to still need to file that return, because you may be entitled to earned income credit. You may have dependents, and you may be entitled to the child tax credit. But you also have to file a return anyway, is to count for the fact that you have health insurance. So everybody is going to need to file a tax return, as long as you're not claimed as a dependent. If you're not claimed as a dependent on anybody else's tax return, you're going to still need to file a tax return, because the one thing that everyone needs to file is because they need to indicate that they have health insurance coverage, unless you're exempt due to hardship. Okay, so let me see what you said. The only other job was like, wait a minute, what did you say? The only other job was like only 4 days of training on a fast food job. Did you pay any tax or withholdings? Well, you add up. Did you do Uber, Lyft? Because you want to add up all your income. You want to add up all your income. Okay, so when you get to 1099, wait a minute. You say yes and you said no. You want to still file a return, because like I said, it's not going to hurt you because, like I said, once you account for all your income and you take the standard deduction and the exemption, and you have no tax liability, you want to make sure that you're claiming it so you get back any withholdings and the earned income credit. Now, let me explain. Maybe let me go over about the earned income credit and what it is. Earned income credit is basically for taxpayers who are low income, and the minimum, well, put it this way. If you're a single person, filed single, you have no dependents, and you made $8,000 a year. Now, let me see, because the calculator for earned income credit may not be available for this year. So let me go and share my screen and go to, I'm going to go to the irs.gov website. All right, y'all, let me go ahead and I'm going to go to irs.gov. All right, tell me if y'all can see the screen, because hey, Seattle, you have any other questions? I'm looking at my phone at the same time, so because I can't seem to navigate this chat on my computer. Okay. Do y'all see the okay, y'all can see it because I can see it on my phone. So this is publication 596, Earned Income Credit. Most people qualify for earned income credit if you're low income and if you have dependents. Say you have 2 dependents and you make under a certain amount of money, you have earned income, you may be entitled to a refundable credit. You know how, let me say it like this. You know how some people, they may work about 3 years, no, not 3 years. They may work like 3-4 months in the year, right? And they may work at McDonald's or fast food place. And they know that if they could work and get at least $2,000-$3,000 worth of income, and they do Uber Eats, and they have dependents, they know they could get a refund up to like almost $3,000, $4,000, depending on if they have dependents, which is the child tax credit and earned income credit. So earned income credit alone could give you a big refund or money that you're entitled to get. Let me tell you the difference between refundable credits and non-refundable credits. Refundable credits are credits such as earned income credit that the government is basically saying, okay, for those low individual taxpayers who may not make a lot of money, we're going to give you an earned income credit. Okay, let me see what y'all say. Only other job was like only 4 days of training. Okay, I got that. Okay, let me see. Can you turn down the volume on your phone, please? Because I'm going to turn it down. Okay, tell me if you hear the echo now. Okay. Hey, Yvonne, can you hear me? Tell me if you could hear the echo still. Hey, Lynn. Hey, Shark, can you stop by and say hello? Good, thanks. Okay, Miss Lee, I goose. Let me see. I goof, and let's say, and I get receipts rather than write down mileage. I didn't know I should write it until I you. Oh, sure. Yeah, I can help you, Seattle. Now, I'm going to show, tell me if y'all can hear the echo still, because, okay, thank you. That's what I needed to do. You know, it's just like when you call the radio station and, you know, how people call a radio station, they on the phone and then they got the radio on. It's the same thing with the YouTube. You're supposed to turn down the volume so you won't get that echo. Now I know. Okay, I'm going to pull up the earning income credit, and then I'm going to talk about mileage. Now, for those who didn't keep track of their miles last year, you want to get all of your statements from Uber, Grubhub, DoorDash, whomever, and also get all your statements from your maintenance records on your car. When you go and take your car to get maintenance, they always ask for that odometer reading. The rules with the IRS in regards to mileage is that if you don't have a mileage log or you kept track of your mileage, you can show records about your mileage, and they will accept that. They will accept it. But I can recreate your mile log based on the documents from Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, and your mileage from your maintenance records from your car. And from that, I have enough information where I could recreate and tell you exactly how many miles you've done for the year. So yes, I could go ahead and recreate and tell you what the mileage is based on that information alone. So I'm going to pull up this earning income credit because this is what's going to show how you could really get a substantial refund just by having earning income credit alone. So let me go ahead and okay, let me see. I took pictures of 2,000 of the miles. I don't know. What do you mean? You took when you was doing a one particular job, it was 2,000 miles, or was it? Let me see, EIC calculator. Trying to pull up the see if they have a calculator and I could just pull it up from there. Now, these are where you can order publications. Any publication you need, you could get. I would suggest if anyone was to get any type of publication, you get publication 5, Pub 5, and the publication that deals with for small business. But let me find that calculator. You know, it would be so much easier. Okay, let me see. I lost. I've only been working since October. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm about to look for it. I'm about to go now and look for the I was gonna look it up by the publication. So let me go and look for it. Let me get it for y'all real quick. Come on, computer. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put up this Earned Income Tax Credit Assistant. And let's put 2016. Oops, let me go back from. Okay. You see here, if you earn income, now this is 2016, so these numbers are going to be slightly different. I'm just going to use it as an example just for illustration purposes. So to find out if you qualify for earned income credit. Now, you must be a U.S. citizen and resident alien all of 2016. So you're going to put yes. And it says, please select yes if the following was true in the last 2016 tax year. Were you and a spouse married, living together, da da da. Okay, let's hit yes for that. Now, you can't get earned income credit if you file married filing separate. So if you're a person and you say, you know what, I'm going to file separate from my spouse, and regardless of what your income is, you don't get earned income credit. So if you're single, married filing joint, head of household, then you qualify for earned income credit. But if you put married filing separate, you're not going to get earned income credit. So make sure you decide what you're going to do. And then, the course, like I said, you have to be a U.S. citizen or legal resident alien. I'm just hitting yes just to show about the married filing. So this is the test for qualifying children. A lot of people ask, well, I have a child and I want to know if that child could qualify for earned income credit. It's based on 4 tests that they go: residency, relationship, age, and joint return. So if you have dependents, you can claim up to 3 children for the earned income tax credit. Now, this is 2016. So unless they changed it, every year they may change the requirements. Sometimes they may, let me get going on. I'm just doing this with the children first because it's going to be, it's really, earned income credit, in my opinion, really is like, it really helps out more for people who have kids. I mean, if you're single by yourself with no dependents, you still get the earned income tax credit, but the amount is like $11,000 a year. I said, who could live on $11,000 a year? As a single person making that. So say you have adopted child, stepchild, foster child, brother, sister, half brother, half sister, stepbrother, stepsister, or descendant of any of these listed, grandchild, niece, nephew. So if you have a niece, nephew, stepchild, brother, sister, half sister, stepbrother, anything on that nature, you could include them and get the earned income credit up to 3 children. So if you have someone live with you, they could be your half brother, stepsister, foster child, half brother, half sister, And Is your child younger than you or permanently or totally disabled? So let's say yes. Let's say no. Let me hurry up and get to this. This thing's so long just to get to the thing. Let's say no. Let's keep going no. Okay. Less. Good grief. All right, I'll be with y'all in a minute. This is so long. And this is so silly because when I worked at the IRS and I used to speak to people on the phone, startled. You know what? Let's go and look at that. Somehow or another, I must have answered something. All right, let's look at this. This is the important thing right here. To qualify for earned income tax credit, you must earn income from working for someone or from running or owning a business or farm and meet basic rules. And you must either meet additional rules for workers without a qualifying child and or have a child that meets all the qualifying child rules for you. You need to file a tax return to claim earned income credit. Documents you need, common errors to watch for, consequences. Okay. All right. Basically, most people qualify for earned income credit. You don't have to have a W-2. You could be working for Uber, Lyft, any of those things, or make money, running a small business. As long as you get cash, you can even claim cash. If you make money, a lot of people say, I'll do it on the side. And they try not to file taxes because they get paid on the table. But yet, you may be missing out on a few $1,000s. So it's not really advantageous, in my opinion, to not claim monies you earn doing side jobs, even if it's cash. You don't have to have a 1099 to file a tax return. But the question is, do I still need to file? Yes, you would need to file. Because like I said, you may qualify for additional monies that you may not be entitled to. And that earned income credit can be several $1,000s. So Seattle, yes, you can. And then at the same time, you could hit me up and we could go one-on-one. I don't want to go and tell anyone, you can give me the specific details so you don't have to share it on YouTube of all the specifics. But yes. Now, let me see. What other questions? Let me go back and see what y'all asked me. I just want to hand you over, Kat. Oh, that's no problem. We'll find a way. We will find a way. I'm sorry for your loss too, Seattle. I know that's a tough situation. And even you could still claim your child too for next year. I used to don't like talking about that. Even when people used to call on the phone, a lot of people wanted to know, they have a child and say they had a baby and the baby deceased or passed away. If that child took 1 second of breath, you could still claim a dependent. You could still claim that child, even if they deceased. Oh, Seattle, he's in a better place in heaven. They always say that, you'll always, you know, you'll meet again. Hey, David. Now, let me tell y'all what happened with oops, let me go back to my screen. I'm not even on the screen. Let me see. Is there anything y'all wanted me to go over with this screen? Me. Okay, I'm gonna stop the sharing of the screening. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so basically, to me, don't go, and please do not go to these tax preparers who claim that they could file a return using a last pay stub. No, you can't, because there's not enough information from that pay stub to complete a return. And if you go to someone who claims they could do that, it's going to be wrong most of the time. And the thing that's going to happen is it's going to delay the return. And if the return is incomplete, it's not considered a filed return. Anything missing from the return, if the IRS sends letters asking for clarification, it's not completed until that return actually gets accepted, processed, and you get your refund. Now, direct deposit and e-filed returns is the best way to go. I know a lot of people, especially older people, they want to mail the return. They want to do things by hand. They're trying to eliminate doing processing returns in that nature. A lot of people have an argument, well, nobody can't, they're not going to go and nobody know how to use a computer. You have to get used to it because everything is automated, Can you claim girlfriend's boyfriend, kid if we were not married? Can you claim the girlfriend, boyfriend? You have to provide they have to live with you for one thing, 6 months or more. The relationship test. So what relationship are those kids to you? Remember I said, if they're not stepson, stepbrother, daughter, son, you can't claim a girlfriend or boyfriend or friend or housemate, even though they may live under your house for free. So, you can't claim those boyfriend, girlfriend if they don't live with you, because they failed the relationship test. Now, if they were your step children, then, or step brother or something, half brother, they can't be friends. They can't be friends. Friends is not included in that relationship test. Now, some states has common law marriage. Now, you may not be legally married to someone, but common law, and someone lives with you, then you may be able to claim that person based on common law. But common law marriage, they kind of did away with that. At least I know in South Carolina they did. And they you know what? David, you're so funny because I remember saying that when I used to work at the IRS, that people pay so much in pets and pet care, and they treat those fur babies and cats and dogs as family, that people always wonder why they can't claim cats and dogs. I think someone tried to do that one time. And let me tell you what's going to happen when you do that. Make a fictitious claim. You know it's like a $50,000 fine for that. I'm serious. They have people who are tax protesters, and they got the nerve to put tax protester on top of the return. And the minute they do that, because they have a list, they have like a, what you call it? What they used to call that list? They used to have a list of people, certain people, like bad preparers, these just crazy stuff, tax protesters. They got them on the list. It's a fine, 50,000 plus. I think they probably increased it. And if someone was to file that return, they're getting a fine. You know? But people do it. People have done it. I'm telling you, they have gotten, some people flew under the radar somehow, because they're not going to catch everybody. I can tell y'all that for sure. But the thing about that is that they already kind of caught it. Trust me, you don't want to play with the government, especially the IRS. You don't want to play with them about silly stuff, because people do that and they don't know. Just like people also get paid money. People also get paid money if you know someone who didn't file a return, say they have a business, right? Or even an individual, and they didn't file no tax return and they made all that money. You know, you could tip off the IRS and they give you a reward. They give you a percentage of whatever the taxes that's owed, they'll give it to you. Now, I ain't saying be a squealer, you know, but, you know, for those people who owe child support, oh, let's go talk about that real quick, too. If you owe child support and you driving for Uber and Lyft and you trying to say, well, I didn't make that much money, and you trying to avoid paying that child support, the IRS is going to file a return for you. They're going to file it. And when they file that return, they don't file it this year. They're going to file it 2 years later. And then they're going to put delinquent, failure to pay, failure to file, a delinquent tax penalty, and everything else from the day the taxes were due, plus the delinquent penalty, which is 25% or 100% of the tax, whichever is greater. So for those who drive around with doing Uber, Lyft, and they thinking, oh, I'm not going to file and I'm not going to pay because the IRS is going to owe me money anyway. The fact that you drive for Uber and Lyft and no taxes are taken out anyway, and you turn around and not file it, or you thinking, well, I only made $2,000, $3,000. You may not owe any taxes on that money, but you do. But what you mess up on is you're not going to get Medicaid, Medicare, and have the credit that goes towards your Social Security. And you know, so it's not about did you make enough money. You really want to file for those purposes, which I said is just to, it kind of go along with your Social Security benefits, because you know we pay self-employment tax, which strictly goes to paying towards your Social Security. You know, a portion of that in Medicare, A portion which you pay in taxes is not just the federal tax withholdings. A portion of the things you pay is Medicare, Social Security, state income tax if you live in a state that pays state income tax. All of that is related to your future. You know, yeah, deadbeats need to pay. Yep, they sure do. You know, you'd be amazed how, and like I said, you want to buy, what about someone that claims kids that don't live with them? What happens to, oh, let me tell you, oh, that's the number one thing. I hear that so many times. Let me tell you what I used to hear on the phones. When during this time of the year, they have people call into the IRS. I didn't give him permission to claim my child. They live with me. He ain't paid child support. People always trying to run to the, beat each other out to claim dependence and put that person on that, put the children on their return. And when the parent who's the guardian who takes care of that child goes to claim the return, it gets rejected. And it gets rejected is because if you have say you separated, not married, because there's a lot of baby mamas, baby daddies, and all that stuff out there. Whoever files that child first, and it's already in the system, and when you're ready to file your return and it comes back an error code, the dependent on the Social Security number has already been in use, you have to mail that return. You have to mail that tax return. And don't send proof. Don't send paperwork. Don't send, I got proof. Don't send that until the IRS actually asks for that information. So let's say this happens. You claim you have 2 children. The father or the mother claimed those dependents already electronically. You go to file, it gets rejected. Then you have to turn around and print the return and sign it. Don't forget to sign. Mail it in. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to process a return. And then the IRS will send a letter to the parent or the other person who claimed that child first. And they're going to ask for proof. Then you're going to have to show school records, lease information, and they're going to examine those returns. And they're going to determine who's supposed to claim that dependent. If it turned around, say the person got the money already. What does pot of greed do? I'll ask that question again. So let me finish the other situation. So the person who got that money from the child tax credit and all those credits associated with that return is going to get reversed. And then the other person is going to get a letter telling them they are going to process their return and they'll get the credit itself. What happens to the person who did it? Nothing. Nothing, because the IRS cannot determine who's entitled to claim that dependent. So they can't stop somebody from not doing it. People say, well, is there anything you can flag in the system so they don't do it again? There is nothing you could do. There's nothing that could be done. The only thing I would say you would have to do in that case is basically don't give the Social Security numbers to the other person, or you go to court, civil court, and then you have things done in a civil court and have it in a decree that this person is to claim the child in the even years, the other person could claim the child in the odd year, or whatever type of arrangements you have. Now, what happens if both parents have both parents have equal and legal authority to claim that dependent? Say that someone's married, or not even married, because most people ain't married no more. Well, I'll tell you what auditing is for. I'll answer that. because it's not an audit. Claiming dependents and who claim who, that's not an audit. That's not when this gets audited. But I'll tell you that in a minute. So if both people, like the child lives 6 months with the other parent and the other parent lives 6 months with the other child, they both provide equal amount of support, and it's a tie, whoever makes the most money is entitled to claim that dependent by law, by rule of the IRS. If it's a tie, whoever earns the most can claim that dependent. And that's it. But the only way you could really prevent them from not doing that is going to court, having have that included in the decree, divorce decree, that who could claim that dependent and what year and how and whatever. Now, I gotta get dinner, but I'll talk with you soon, and thank you for taking the time. Thank you, David. All right, watch out for my Tax Tip Tuesdays. That's when I do the actual, not live stream, but I actually make a video and I take a segment. So, David, if you have anything you want me to discuss, let me know when I end the stream, and then tell me so I could cover maybe specific topics that people want to know about. And if you have any questions or anything, let me know too. I'm here to help y'all. Okay, what is it now? Okay. What about someone that claims kids that don't live with them? What happens to them? Like I said, it ain't much going to happen to that person. The only thing they're going to do is take it off the return. You know, the person gets the original amount of money they owe or balance due, and that's it. Now, let me tell you what auditing is. Audit, when they audit a return. This is what's going to get people audited, especially if you're in these ride-sharing jobs. What's going to get people audited is an exuberant amount, and I can't really tell y'all because I don't want someone to say, she go disclose secrets, but I don't work there no more, so whatever. What gets people audited is 3 things. The first one is they've been cracking down on people getting that earned income tax credit. And they're cracking down on that is because people are giving Social Security numbers of dependents to other people to claim their kids, and they're not the ones working. So say I'm a person, welfare mom or low income person, and I don't work. I get Section 8 housing. I get free childcare. I get free everything. And in order for me to keep those benefits, I can't really go out and work. Or a person who went on this and say, for instance, someone who gets SSI. In order for them to get disability insurance, they can't work so many hours, but they have dependents. And 1 year, they let this person down the street claim their kids. Next year, they let this other person do it. And this year, that's going to trigger someone to get verification of that earned income tax credit. They see multiple children being claimed in so many different years, or 1 year you're single with no dependents, no nothing. Then the next year could roll around. All of a sudden you're claiming 3 kids, head of household, and that Social Security number of the dependents been used in the past by other people. So that's what's going to trigger that's going to trigger a earned income tax credit audit. And they are cracking down on that starting February 15th of every year or something like that. And it's like 45 days they hold that return, especially if they show to be a high return. Another thing that gets people audited is going to certain tax preparers. Let me give you a story. There are people out there who do tax returns for like 3 months out the year, and you see them popping up all over the place. You know, beauty salon places, restaurants on the side, and they just have those people do a lot of returns, and they try to trigger low income individuals who get $5,000-$6,000 of earned income tax credit, and they doing all these returns, and they have like and most of the returns they do is for earned income tax credit. The tax preparer is going to be under investigation and review. So all those clients that they have, they're going to turn around and hold those returns and look at each of those returns, not because the taxpayer did something wrong. It's because the tax preparer is under question and review. That's what holds a lot of people returns up. It's not so much the tax preparer. It's not so much the taxpayer. It's the person who did the return is being under investigation. That's why it's important that you be real careful about people who say things like, "Oh, I could file a return using the last pay stub." Flag, don't do it. Or I could get your tax return done and you get your money back in 3-4 days. Wrong. That's a loan, and then they're gonna charge you $500-$600, because if you're getting $5,000-$6,000 back of money, giving $500 to get something back in 2-3 days don't mean much to no one, especially if you don't have any money in the first place. So you're gonna fall for that trap. But let me tell you, when that tax preparer runs off with your $500-$600 and you get that letter from the IRS asking you to show proof of this income, show proof of the earned income tax credit and everything else, and show proof about the Schedule C. A lot of people make up a lot of fake Schedule Cs. They say they do hair, they do nails on the side. They claim they made $7,000 worth of income. They don't have no 1099s, nowhere in sight. And then they file a return. The IRS is going to say, show us the proof of where you got this cash from. And you don't have proof of where you got that money from. That's going to trigger an audit. You can't put random fake Schedule Cs and say you made money and you have no 1099s nowhere in sight. Even if you got money, even if you got cash under the table or whatever the case may be, they want to know what you've done. What did you do for a living? I do hair, I do nails. You have no barber license. You have no cosmetology license, nowhere in sight. You have no bank account or business bank account. You did not register with the state Secretary of State of a business. That's what gets you audited. An exuberant amount on your Schedule A. If you have $35,000, $40,000 worth of Schedule A, that's itemized deduction, and you have no mortgage on there, because the only thing that's going to exclude that Schedule A of over $30,000 amount is that, do you have a mortgage? See, let me give you an example of my own personal returns. I have a mortgage, and I filed Schedule A for the last 7-8 years, but I pay about $9,000, $10,000 something worth of real estate taxes, property taxes, and the other $15,000, whatever amount it is. You know, it may come from, church donations and other things like that. It's not going to get audited because I have a mortgage, because I get a statement from the bank, a 1098, showing that I pay mortgage. So they're not going to look at the Schedule A for that high amount because I have a mortgage associated with that Schedule A. But if you don't have any mortgage, you don't pay no real estate taxes or anything like that, and you got a Schedule A of 30,000 plus, that's going to get audited. Another Schedule C. Most of us are Uber drivers, Lyft, Grubhub, you name it. There's two types of things: ordinary and necessary expenses. Ordinary means it is necessity. It is a necessity to run your business. Ride sharing, a necessity is anything associated with your car. Gas, maintenance, tires, repairs, depreciation of your car, whatever. That's gonna be a separate video altogether when I talk about that. So Schedule C, you want to be cautious about not being audited is when you say you made $25,000, but yet you're going to try to clean the whole entire $25,000. Now, the new tax law is going to kind of it's not going to, the new tax law does not change that you could claim the deductions on the Schedule C. It really affects the Schedule A and those who are wage earners. That in regards to tax, the new tax law, you're going to still be able to do all those deductions with the Schedule C. You can either take the mileage or you can take the actual expenses. But even then, with the Schedule C, you really want to show proof of that coming from legitimate businesses, which is basically going to come from the 1099s. But what's going to get people in trouble when it comes with the Schedule C is, like I said, you have no 1099s to prove that you had a business. So you really want to, whether you get cash as your business, you really want to formulate a business, like either like an LLC. I'm not talking about if you're an Uber driver or what. I'm talking about I have my own computer business, or I work from home as a photographer or taking pictures. You want to show that type of business and legitimize yourself as a business, because a lot of times, a lot of people do things as a hobby. And if it's a hobby, you can't deduct any of those things. But if it's a legitimate business to make income, then it's a business. But you want to protect yourself in that way by opening up, just opening up like a separate bank account. Register your business with the Secretary of State, or get an EIN number. So this year, I'm a consultant with TurboTax. So I work from home. So I'm going to put it out there for y'all. If y'all Uber driver, Lyft driver, sell Avon, whatever it is you do, you want to get an EIN number. You can get an EIN number from the irs.gov website. With the EIN number, it allows you to curate more like a separate, you want to kind of separate your income from terms of your Social Security, your filing under Social Security number. You still put the EIN number on the Schedule C for your business, because you really want to be able to take more of the other type of deductions if you choose to file as a corporation or C corporation of such. Okay, what y'all been saying? Let me see. What other questions y'all have for me? But I don't want to be too long because sometimes people may. Let me see. In fact, you went to bed. I know you were sleepy. I don't see you on here. Kevin, you got any questions? Seattle, you got any questions? Avon. What's on here? It says 10 of y'all on here, but I don't see. Because, I'm looking at my phone because I can't figure out this dumb chat room hangout because. Hey, Dorian. Okay, let me close this out. It's like 10:55. If y'all have any questions for me, send me. You know what? I sure have a password. No, a Gmail account for my TPS tax and consulting at gmail.com. I need to know how to get back to that Gmail email account so I could put that emails together so I can have it separate. How much do they take when you do your tax? When I do my personal taxes, how much who take? Because I don't let no one take anything out because I do my own taxes. Now, if I do my own taxes myself, I do it myself. I've never paid anyone to do my taxes ever. It may have been one time, which was years ago with H&R Block, but that was like $50. But that was like a 1040 EZ, And I think the only reason why I did it was because, the IRS don't take any tax. The only time IRS takes money out of your taxes is if you owe. I mean, owing taxes is when you don't pay enough with withholdings or you didn't make enough estimated tax payments. The only reason, if you ever owe the IRS any money and you get a bill, is because you didn't pay enough in your taxes. Whatever your taxable income is, based on your filing status, whether single, married, joint, married, separate, head of household, that end number is you paid $5,000 for withholdings of taxes, but you supposed to, your tax bill is $7,000 and you only pay $5,000, you're going to owe $2,000, which is the difference. So the end result is when it's trying to maximize amount of deductions, especially for these 1099 ride sharing gigs. You want to maximize the most deductions as possible to lower your tax bill. Because if you're exclusively a ride sharing gig and you do this full time, like I was doing last year, no, I did work a W-2. I did work a few places last year that I got a W-2, but it probably won't be enough taxes. Well, it may be enough taxes. I think I paid enough taxes to eliminate my total income. I'm just going to see what happens when I get all my 1099s. But let me see. Oh, if you go to Jackson Hewitt and H&R Block and say you have a Schedule C and you have Schedule A and you have others forms to file, they're going to easily charge you anywhere from $300 to $500 to do that return. If it's a simple return, real basic, meaning it's like, line 7 minus line 15 equals to line 32, which is either a refund or balance owed, they may charge $50, $50. Now that was years ago. I don't know how much. I know for sure these tax preparers out there that's going to charge $300 to $500, even up to $700. But the average tax preparer firm, according to the Association of Accounting, is Association for Accountants, or no, CPAs, they said the average tax preparer charge anywhere from $400 to $500. So it's pricey, it's expensive, you know. Now I'm going to charge, if you have a Schedule C, Schedule A, 1099 self-employed, I'm gonna charge $150, which is really inexpensive. I'm gonna charge $150, and then I could do the state. I'll throw the state in there for free. If you have a 1040 easy form, like I do believe you may have, Sirius, I could either do it for you for $25. If it's a simple return, I could do it for $25, and that includes the state and the federal, because it's not going to take me no time to do an easy form or something that doesn't require a whole lot of figuring out, whether you have Schedule C's and everything. So if it's a simple return, I'll just charge $25, and then I'll do your state for free. Unless you live in Florida or Nevada, one of those states where you don't have no state income tax, then you're lucky. So, but H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, let me tell you, my opinions about them is they're promoting more of those those loans. Their primary source of income that they're getting from people is those loans. They want people to come in there, and they're going to anticipate your refund based on whether or not, and it really comes from that earned income credit. They're trying to promote more of those loans, like, oh, you get a loan up to $3,000, $2,000. They're making their money mostly from that. They're not making money from just someone coming in there doing a return. Yes, they'll do it, but they know a lot of people are doing it themselves. The TurboTax Act, like I said, I will be, I got a contract with TurboTax to work from home. It's my own business, but I'll be taking calls. I finished my training today for TurboTax, so I am a technical support analyst for TurboTax. And anybody who has technical issues with TurboTax, they call the 800 number to Intuit TurboTax. So when they call the 800 number, I'm one of those people who's going to answer the phone calls and then answer any questions you may have about TurboTax. TurboTax is an excellent company. The training was long. Well, it wasn't long. Yeah, it was long because I had to spend hours and hours of training, and it was pretty good. But I knew most of it because I worked at the IRS, so I understood the tax part of it, but the technical part is what I'll be helping people with. So I take my first phone calls. I scheduled myself on Monday. Thanks, Seattle. You're welcome, Color Avon. Colors of Avon. Like that name. Seattle driver. Yeah, so I didn't schedule no hours for tomorrow because I was like, let me give me a weekend off and I could start Monday. So I won't be doing as much Uber and Lyft driving, but I'm gonna still do Uber and Grubhub, but most of my days is gonna be taking phone calls for TurboTax. I'm gonna do 8 to 4, 8 to 5. do Uber and Lyft in between, come back home, and then finish and do it from like 10 to 11, and that's it. I'm gonna try not to burn myself out because they said to take it going in easy and slow. But I'm looking forward to that. But if y'all have turbos, if you want to use a software and you wish to do it yourself and you do TurboTax, I would say you could get TurboTax. If you get TurboTax, make sure you either get, if you're a small business, get the small business version. And also, I would recommend that you get QuickBooks. Not QuickBooks. QuickBooks is one. What's the other one? Quicken. Yeah, QuickBooks. That's what they are. QuickBooks for business. QuickBooks, you could do that too. There's an app for that. You just take pictures of your receipt, and then it could also use to keep track of your mileage. And also Stride. Stride has a application where they keep track of your miles, and then you could also download into a PDF file and then break down the expenses. And Credit Karma, I used Credit Karma last year. Credit Karma I used to do my taxes last year, and it was free. So I didn't pay for TurboTax last year. And it was quite interesting. I really did like Credit Karma. Credit Karma, you could do your taxes, and it's supposed to download your Uber information onto the Credit Karma tax application. But I didn't do it like that. But this year, I'm gonna try it. But if anyone wants me to do the returns for y'all, or if you need help, say you want to do it yourself, you say, let me tackle it. If you want me to go over it, make sure everything has been accounted for, and you just want me to look at it and say, okay, just do it. You want to try it because a lot of people like hands-on. I could also look at it for you and give you some tidbits, and make sure that it's done correctly. Because a lot of people say, well, I have a friend, they've been doing it for years. And a lot of people have gone to people who they're loyal to. And, a lot of times it's just like, let me see. It's like car insurance. Every year you keep your car insurance because you're so used to that particular car insurance company that you don't really take time to, compare and evaluate. So some people stay loyal to a certain person, thing, church, whatever. And, every year tax season come along, people say, I had a guy, he's my accountant, and I just get him do it. Ask people questions about it. Don't just give information to people and then you get it back. They tell you get about whatever amount of money. Ask questions because it's important, because they're only going to do what you tell them that's included. The reason why I could speak on being a ride-sharing independent contractor and doing taxes, because I worked both ends of the aisle, you could say. I worked at the IRS over 10 years. I'm a technical support analyst working with TurboTax. I've had my advanced degree, my MBA degree, and I've taken advanced courses in accounting. I took enough courses in accounting to actually be a CPA. Only difference between me not being a CPA was I don't have $1,500 per session to take the CPA exam. That's the only reason why I don't have a CPA. I don't have that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 that they want you to pay to sit for the test. I just don't have it. So, let me see. Let me see. If you're on SSI and work, can you do your taxes? No, because SSI is not taxable. But if you made extra money on the side, you want to report that. Remember what I told you? Some people, they know they only work up to a certain amount of money to keep their SSI. So, okay, I don't want to overburden y'all because I don't want to be long when it's already 11, 10 after 11. All right, y'all. I think it's time for me to end the stream. Darius, I know you sent me. I sent you my email. I said check your email because I did respond back to you on the question you asked me. I have an idea where you're going, but I don't want to, I think I understand your situation. This is with this funny face. Road Stick VP. Hey! You're welcome, Lynn. Now tell me what kind of topics y'all want me to address. Let me know. Hey, Dorian. Let me know what kind of questions y'all want me to ask. I mean, not ask. Ask questions y'all want me to talk about. Unmet. I understand your question. I mean, from what you work for at and I don't know what your question is. I mean, like I said, you get SSI. I don't know what the limit is because it can always change. But you can't work. You can't make so much money and get SSI. That's why a lot of people who work SSI, um, without them losing that benefit, they can't make over so much money. So I can't really answer your question about the Social Security benefits, but I'll look it up though. So let me put down Social Security benefits. I'll look that up. It's a publication for that talks about Social Security benefits. I'll look it up for you. I have to look up the Internal Revenue Code, and I can answer that question for you because I don't want to give you the wrong information without looking it up. So something like that, I can't give an answer on top of my head. I know there's a certain limit for sure. So what happened? Why did so many people I know have to go into a meeting with? I know what you mean. They probably had to go to the IRS because if they was getting that earned income, well, it depends. I don't know. So many people had issues with identity theft. So many people had issues with that earned income tax credit because, like I said, they've been verifying that EI, that earned income credit. And another thing they were verifying a lot was people were making a lot of false 1098Ts for tuition. A lot of people were saying they were going to school and they weren't going to school. And they came up with this false tuition scam. I know that for sure. See, let me tell you, the IRS has been dealing with the issue with identity theft a lot. A lot of people had identity theft. And identity theft is rampant. It was, a lot of people um, had identity theft issues and they're not even realizing they had it. And that had kind of, but a lot of things got caught. Some things got caught, rather. I ain't gonna say a lot. A lot of those returns got caught for identity theft and fraud. But if you had an issue of identity theft, they had asked you to send your PIN number. But I don't know. It depends, It just depends on what the issue was. It depends what people have done. It's hard for me to say. People have been going through audits and stuff because, like I said, a lot of people have been claiming false things on the return and oh, they just cracking down on that credit because it's what they call as PATH. Let me see. Patriot Act, something. I can't remember what it stands for, but it had to do with an act. It was an act that they had came down last year, and they were cracking down on that earned income credit. That's what I was saying earlier, that people are claiming other people's dependents and children. Because, and think about it. When they had that economic downturn, a lot of people was lost their job, had a lot of financial issues. They weren't working. And if they weren't working, they had children. And a lot of people, went to these scam tax return preparers or whatever they did, and they got caught up in that mess. They got caught up in doing those, getting that earned income credit. Remember, I told you, don't go to these places that promises, all these big things, because they're targeting people who got earned income credit and that child tax credit. And when they targeting that, they are investigating tax preparers. They see tax preparers are responsible that when they processing the earned income credit, they're required to check for certain things when that person walks to the door and get their return done. It's not just TurboTax, it's all of them. So there are certain tax preparers who are actually, they're not really legitimate. They may be legitimate, but they just targeting certain groups of people, and they're getting paid all these exuberant funds, and they have a high return where a lot of the clients are earned income tax question. What was the person? The question was, if you on SSI and work for a few hours a week, can I still get the tax? Can I get a tax return back? You mean a refund? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Why you okay? I think you okay. Sirius or whatever your name. I've already answered your question. You asking questions that you asked me an hour ago. So I already answered that question. I'm not going to beat that down to the horse because I think you're trying to get your question answered, and then you're asking it in a different way, and I already answered it. I'm trying not to be rude. So I'm going to go ahead and, don't put things in caps, because you put it in caps, you're yelling. Okay, Seattle, I'm sorry. What was your question? Because that's why I said, please don't ask personal questions, because I can't just answer personal questions without getting the entire information. You know? Thanks, Seattle. And see, I try not to, I don't want to get my reputation ruined on YouTube, because, I try not to make no videos ranting and raving about not getting tips and stuff. I'm trying to brand myself and help people. You know, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf in 2018 and not be so belligerent about ride sharing gigs, because, it ain't that important. We all here trying to make money the best we can. You ain't interrupting. No, you're not interrupting at all. Yeah, he was rude. I think, you know what? All right, Serious BBQ. I try to help you, but you can't disrupt everybody else's flow. I put him in timeout. Thank you. Because we all, I'm here to try to educate and teach people and, give them tips and give them experiences of what I know. Because I work at the IRS. Now, I may not work there anymore, but, you know, I feel that the knowledge that I've gained and the things I've learned, and, it kind of goes towards my purpose. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to scam no one. I'm not trying to make any money off of people doing it, because I've tried to gear to people towards the right give them right information, guide them to the right things, informing people of matters that's important, because I see a lot of YouTube videos where people just randomly make statements. Oh, you could deduct this, that, whatever, you know, you could do the mileage and you could do this, but they don't give you reasons or why, they don't get, if it was so easy or so simple, there wouldn't be such services available out there to people. But I don't believe in trying to take so much money from people, $500. Ridiculous. If you're a big company, say, you have a business, or you got employees and you pay payroll taxes and you have to deal with um, Social Security and all those stuff, then I would say, okay, you know what? You can hire an accountant. You'll need an accountant. You do 941s, payroll tax, and all that stuff. Yeah, that's when you pay $600-700, but not for an individual who just drives for Uber and Lyft, and or photography business, or someone who earns money. That's too much. Thank you. You know, I I'm not trying to lose my contract with TurboTax. I'm not trying to do anything like that. It don't make any sense. You know? And if you deal with me, we could talk on the phone, we could do sharing the screen and everything. I could walk you through it. You know, I could walk you through it. Like if you use TurboTax, for instance, and you say, let me go get TurboTax, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm already certified as a TurboTax technical support person. If you don't want to call the 800 number and call someone on the, and call somebody on the phone, I could probably help you off the clock, and do it too. They would never know. And I will always tell you, because let me tell you what the IRS is going through. Even when I was there last year, they are going through so many major cutbacks. I would say 60, 70% of the people are due to retire. They should have been gone. And they're not trying to have people answer the phone calls. You can't call that 1-800-829-1040 number and get a hold of somebody. They say, I got a question about taxes. They're going to tell everybody to go to the irs.gov website. They're going to straight up go and tell them to self do it yourself. They're trying to eliminate that personal one-on-one assistance. Oh, easy. That's good. They showed her. Yeah. Exactly. I don't like trolls. You know how trolls come on your channel and then because and people just get on there and try to pick your brain for free. I mean, come on now. How many answers can I give you? I gave it to you in like what? How many times I'm not gonna devote my issue to one person and you asking the same question over and over and over again. Good grief. You're just one of those people, you didn't work anywhere, you don't have any income. Do I need to file? Do I need to do this? Do I need to? I mean, how many times can I answer the question? You know, my goodness. Okay, how many people's watching? 10? There's 10 people watching. Who else is on here? Some of y'all are incognito. Y'all ain't saying who y'all are, and I can't see. All right, I think I've been here a long time, and I know I need to go to bed. I think so. Every Tuesday and every Thursday, I'm going to. Well, Tuesdays I'm gonna do the tape version. It'll be a more smaller video. It won't be like a long, drawn out video. And then Thursdays, I could do the live stream. Oh, you know what? It's like 20. Well, right now, what's the degrees? Um, the highest it was today was 32 degrees. When I went to do Uber Eats, I did it around the house. I didn't do Grubhub today. I had 6 hours for Grubhub and I canceled all of them. And I said, let me just stick around the house. It was like 20, 22 degrees, 21 degrees. We didn't get no snow. But my mother, let me tell you about my mother. Now I'm finished with the tax thing. My mother lives in Charleston, South Carolina. Well, she lives in Goose Creek, South Carolina, which is right outside of Charleston, South Carolina. And see, I was so busy doing the TurboTax training. My mother called me the other day and she was like, I forgot to call for New Year's because I was driving Uber Eats on New Year's Eve and I made like $108 for 6 hours driving for Uber Eats. So I forgot to call for New Year's, but I thought I sent a text. But anyway, so it was 4 inches of snow, they said, from Savannah all the way to Charleston, all the way up to New York. It's like a blizzard. And it was like 4 inches of snow. Let me show y'all Facebook group. Let me see. I'm going to share the screen, show you the face. Oh, man. Can't do it because my computer thing is stuck. Stupid phone. Ugh. What? I know y'all did, Dorian. I know y'all did. So let me tell you. So my mother said they had like 3-4 inches of snow. My niece is visiting after, she didn't come on Christmas and she came after Christmas. So she had to go to the mall and buy my niece a coat because she didn't hardly came down there with any clothes. At least not clothes for the weather. So my mother had, coming from New York, She had this thick coat, and she was in the Home Depot, and someone came to her, where you get that coat from? And she was all nice, bundled, warm. People walked in the Home Depot in Charleston, snowing, with shorts on, pair of shorts, a light sweater, freezing to death. And she said, oh, I got this all the way from New York. And she said that she thought she had left the snow. She left New York, sold the house in New York, moved back to South Carolina, and the golf course is all blanket with snow. I'm gonna have to show y'all that tomorrow when I look at the Facebook group. And the dogs, remember I said for Thanksgiving it was Chi Chi and Valentine? So they out there in the back on the patio playing in the snow. But yeah, those people in South Carolina, boy, they don't sell jackets and heavy coats and everything like that in Charleston. It didn't snow like that. They said it was like over 30 years. It never snowed like that. And I had just told somebody today that eclipse, remember that eclipse that happened in the United States back in September? Charleston was the last place the eclipse would ended. And it was like total darkness for that few seconds or whatever. I said, you know what? That eclipse that happened in South Carolina in Charleston is going to be a major winter storm is going to happen because of that eclipse. And I don't know. I was just saying that. I said, something's going to happen. It's going to be a strange winter. And I said, it's going to be something real strange. And lo and behold, if that didn't happen. So it didn't snow here in Atlanta, but it went down to 8 degrees, 11 degrees early in the morning. It was freezing. My house downstairs is cold because I turned off the heat. And I got the heat running on upstairs, but I need to buy me a brand new door. But that front entry door is like totally ruined. And then it's like all that cold air is coming in the house. But I'm gonna have to put me some plastic or cover it up with some something until I'm able to replace my entry door. Seattle, I know y'all getting it good. It ain't no winter. Y'all don't even have winter in Seattle. What y'all get? Rain? Oof. I know one thing. I wonder how those people are doing with Uber making money. I know Shelly Shell. What? Low 30s on and off snow. Ooh, y'all could keep it. Not me. I don't know what's worse, cold or heat. Well, you can only take off so much clothes. But you know what though? It's not meant to be hot. Because if it's hot and it's winter time, something's wrong. Something's seriously wrong. Going to change over the last years. You know what? I had thought about moving to Seattle when I was coming out of college back in 96, 97. I moved to Atlanta in 96. And my thought process was, I'm going to live in Atlanta for 5 years and then I'm going to move to the West Coast. You're welcome, Sirius. I know. It's just when you put stuff in caps, people interpret that you're yelling. So, but I'll help you. Like I said, I'm not petty like that. Trust me, I may be petty when it comes to not getting no tips from customers, but I'm not going to be petty because, I understand sometimes people get in situations and taxes and stuff can give people high anxiety. Trust me, I know. You don't like being over 60. What? Mm-mm. Hmm. Yeah, it could be. I don't know what the weather's going to bring. I keep telling people, I said, you know what? Atlanta's going to get its snow and ice. Give it a month. It might happen. Yeah, we get petty over tips. Especially yesterday. Last night, I'm all up in the 20-degree weather and stuff. And at first, someone left me $1 tip on Grubhub back. I like, what? When I finally got to, there was the last destination before I was about to get home. But he made it up and gave me a $4 cash tip. And I was like, ooh, because I called him from the car. I was like, well, the reason why I called him from the car was I pulled up in this dark ass street, couldn't see a thing. I was like, why do people got this? They don't put no numbers on the mailbox, numbers half taken off. They got the bushes covering the trees, and they got the porch light turned off completely. And I'm sitting there trying to throw on the pie beams looking for the house number. And I called them from the house, from the car. I said, excuse me, but I can't see your house. You have it out dark. I can't see anything. You know, what are you saying? All the people who have diseases and like no. All right, what are you talking about? Now you're talking crazy. Here we go again. We don't get snow in Atlanta. That's probably like one in every exactly, Dorian. Jackass. That's why I put them. That's why I reported that to That's why I reported it. I blocked it. Dumbass. See, people about to get see. This what makes me curse at people. You see, that's what makes me curse at people. Why the hell you coming over here talking about? You know what? Don't even study that, y'all. All right, good night. Let me block this fool. I'm sorry, Seattle. I need to have, y'all could be moderate. Y'all could go in there and put it's like them three dots next to that person's name. If y'all could catch those messages for me, we could block them because I'm reporting it right now. Okay, how do I get this person from stop doing this? I'm trying to report this to Uber, not Uber, YouTube, and they're gonna review it because there's no way of exactly. People always trying to throw karma into something. Get off that damn channel, stroll, troll. Only that kind of stupidness, idiot. People always trying to throw karma into stuff. They don't know what the hell you talking about. Ain't gonna come, only thing gonna be diseased is you, your wicked mind. Your mind is diseased if you could get on some channel and then talk about that, dumbass. See, Seattle, you good, cause see, I would have cursed you out. See how people bring you. See how people try to bring you. Okay, now you're back again. I put this stupid ass person in timeout, so maybe that will get them to stop putting these messages out there like that. Foolish. All right. Okay, y'all. I think I'm going to bed now. Okay, Seattle. Did you send me your email? I didn't see it. Send me an email and then I could respond back in. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. Send me an email, tsmallwood68@gmail.com. And then you could send me a message and I could give you my phone number. And then we could talk on the phone. I already got your number, Dorian. I'm going to call you. I ain't spoke to you in a minute. Exactly. He going to hell. Stupid ass. All right, y'all. It was a pleasure talking to y'all on my first Q&A. And we're going to do this every Thursday. I'm going to try to do it. Well, I'll see if I try to do it every day. Not every day. I ain't going to do it every day. I'll devote to Tuesdays, Thursdays. And then, of course, I'll do my drive around when I'm driving in a car. And we can do that, talk too. But we are going to get all this. We're going to get all of this together, y'all. We're going to get all of this done. You're welcome, sweetie. I'll talk to y'all later. All right, y'all. It's time for me to go to bed. It's 11:44 p.m. I don't know who the 10 other people was on here, but if I didn't see your face or y'all didn't comment, y'all have a good night. And I will talk with y'all tomorrow on my adventures. Y'all have a good night.